What do you think now after getting to that championship game a third season in a row? What do you think of the 49ers' status right now?
The 49ers are just going to keep on running the ball. I think if they can keep on running this ball, I think that's how they're going to win games, especially Colin Kaepernick. You know, he has his lefties now, but having Frank Gore, and it's only going to be 1 or 2 seasons until he's actually finally done being the starting running back for the 49ers. I think that, just keep the running game going. The defense was amazing today. Gets 2 interceptions. Patrick Willis gets the one in the first quarter. I think that really kept the momentum for the 49ers throughout that game.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for calling into our show today. Feel free to call in anytime, and thank you for your analysis and reporting on your favorite team, the 49ers.
Thank you, Blake, and I got one more thing to say. I hate that SportsCenter thinks that, well, for the East Coast teams, well, the 49ers are going to be back in that Super Bowl no matter what, either Seattle or the San Francisco 49ers, so watch out for the West teams.
Yeah, good point there, Robert. Thank you so much. See you soon. Okay, well, that was Robert Dieters, our 49ers analyst, always talking about his favorite team. A little biased, you could say, but he has some great analysis and other things to say on that. Now, we're going to finish up here with college football and then go on to the NFL and talk about that game. Florida State dynasty debate. It got a little heated over text. Now, me and you talking about Florida State and if they're a dynasty potentially, or if they're a team that's only going to be good after when Jameis Winston is their starting quarterback. Let's start that up right now, Noah.
Okay, well, my opening statement here. First of all, I think Florida State comes in next year as the favorite. I think you and me can both agree on that. They have so much talent, even with Calvin Benjamin being gone, O'Leary coming back. Jameis Winston just makes you an immediate contender. He's just such a phenomenal quarterback. But after that, my big point is, look, Jimbo Fisher is a great coach, but the years he has done well were with 3 quarterbacks that had starting jobs or will have starting jobs in the NFL. That's E.J. Manuel, that's Christian Ponder, and that's Jameis Winston. Now, we look at next year, after Jameis Winston is gone. The quarterback with the most experience, he comes in as the 27th best. E.J. Manuel, Jameis Winston, Christian Ponder were all highly touted recruits. This guy, not at all. Not even a top 300, not even a top 500. They can bring in their freshman, who is a top 300, but that's a
Lost Noah for a second there. Not really sure what happened. A little technical difficulty. Noah, are you back on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Keep on going with your points.
It'll be really hard without a good quarterback, and I think that maybe after the year, once their freshman quarterback has gotten some experience, they can bounce back. But their quarterback is he's a pocket presence quarterback, doesn't have much mobility like Manuel or Winston. I don't see it.
Yeah, but also my point about that, a freshman quarterback being highly touted, well, he is a highly touted quarterback. What is his name, by the way, Noah, just so I can add that in?
Oh, let me find that really quickly. But I mean, he's if you mean by highly touted, he's the 10th best quarterback. Jameis Winston was the best. E.J. Manuel was a top 5. Christian Ponder was a top 5. This is a 10th guy. They're going to be going up, by the way, against a quarterback in Deshaun Watson of Clemson, who is the number 1, who is the best quarterback, the best mobile quarterback since Terrell Pryor, who is a great college quarterback. Not talking about NFL caliber quarterbacks, but this guy is insane. So how are they supposed to compete if this guy is a pocket presence quarterback who doesn't have the athleticism when college is a quarterback who's mobile's game?
My argument against that is also you got to talk about the players surrounding him at quarterback. Quarterback is a position which gets the most press, which gets so much credit or critical comments made against them if they fail to get victories. But my thing against that is that Florida State is pulling out a top 5 recruiting class right now. They're going to have another top 5 recruiting class, I predict, for next season after they're going to win the BCS title again, hopefully. Not so sure about that one, but they're going to have top 5 recruiting classes guaranteed for the next 2 seasons. So that means after Jameis Winston leaves, they're going to have some very, very talented players surrounding whoever their quarterback may be. That could be great offensive linemen. That can be running backs, wide receivers. I know they've pulled in some very good skill position players for this season's recruiting class. So that is going to make a quarterback way better than having a weaker team around him. quarterback is just made better and better by the players that he's surrounded with. You can say that with Peyton Manning right now in the NFL. He has Wes Welker. He has all of his great wide receivers. He also has no Sean Moreno at running back. So that makes him so much better. And you saw how good he played this year with over 50 touchdowns, getting the NFL touchdown record. And you saw him with the Colts towards the end. He was struggling a little bit, but he was still playing at an elite level. It changed an elite quarterback to just a level which we never had seen before. That just shows you how surrounding players and also a very good defense, which Florida State will have for the next 2 years, it's going to help a quarterback no matter who he is. That is my argument against that one, Noah. Any other points you'd like to make?
Well, I completely agree with you. Players around should make a difference. And you're right. Their recruiting classes are great. But here's the problem that I see. Their recruiting classes are all defensive. The best wide receiver they're getting, let's see here, is the number 7 wide receiver, the number 150 player, and after that they don't have another wide receiver until it's down below the 300s in the next year's recruiting class. In 2015, the year without Jameis, the first year without Jameis, they don't have a wide receiver that's in the top 300 at all. How can they compete if they don't have the weapons anymore? Most of the wide receivers, most of their big guys will be gone with Winston. So what are they going to do? Are they going to just out of nowhere pull out these wide receivers? And sure, there is time to recruit for 2015. But remember, most of the 2014 guys are gone. They will not have experience on that team in 2 years. I don't see it. I don't see the wide receivers. I expect them to still be making the playoffs because of that defense, which I think will be the best defense in college football. But even Michigan State, who had, in my opinion, the best defense, needed offense. They needed Connor Cook to step up. They needed Jeremy Langford. And honestly, I don't see the weapons for this Florida State team.
But you got to make the note that there is some young players on that team right now who are freshmen or sophomores who have not gotten the opportunities to play. I'm looking at players such as, let me pull this down. I'm looking at their roster right now. Will Birmingham, he only caught 1 pass this season, a very highly touted recruit from Florida, along with some other players who did not get any playing time this year for Florida State due to the likes of Rashard Green, Kelvin Benjamin, and Kenny Shaw, and Nick O'Leary getting all the catches in that offense. But there are some players dying to get some plays out there, and I think they're going to step up to the occasion and play amazing. And these are the wide receivers we're going to be talking about in 2015, helping out whoever this quarterback may be and making their offense as legit or maybe even more powerful than it is right now.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I'd like to point out that the recruiting class that basically gave you guys... I'd like to point out the recruiting class was Jameis Winston when you guys got Mario Edwards and Jameis Winston. One of the best recruiting classes ever. And Timmy Jernigan, who will probably be gone. You guys do have a replacement in Eddie Goldman. The number 1 defensive tackle from that class will definitely step in and be phenomenal. You do have some wide receivers. Marvin Bracey didn't have the greatest year, but he'll be able to step in and play as well. And you guys should definitely be a good team. But you got to realize it's so difficult to create a dynasty. It's not only being the best team, but everything has to fall into place for you. You have to get lucky. You have to have other teams that are probably going to go undefeated. Take Michigan State, even losing a lot of talented players could go undefeated, or Ohio State. You got to make sure that everything falls into place for you. You got to make sure that you got to hope that the other team doesn't get lucky. It's a lot of luck in there. Alabama, they had a great run, but before that, there aren't many dynasties. Teams were trading off wins. Florida tried it, but they couldn't build up. They got, 1, and they kind of faded out after 2, I believe, championships. LSU wasn't able to really build a dynasty. Texas unable to. USC was average there, but to build a
No,
dynasty
I got to
like
interrupt
Bama
you really quick. We're getting our 3rd caller already, Nick Spadafora up there from Corvallis, Oregon. Nick, welcome onto the show. Blake and Noah, we're talking about college football and recapping the 2013 season. Nick, any questions or comments you'd like to make?
Oh, I have a question. Concerning the Pac-12 this next coming season, what are the chances you guys think that the Beavers can come out on top of this supposedly great division?
Noah, I'd like to hand that question over to you immediately. What do you think about the Beavers' chances of upsetting all those great teams in the Pac-12 and getting to the top of that conference right now?
Well, first of all, let me say that I was really impressed with Oregon State. I didn't see them as being a great team this year, but Brandon Cooks, Sean Mannion, very impressive. Brandon Cooks is going to the NFL. We already know that. And that's a big hit to the team because he is debatably one of the best wide receivers. But Sean Mannion is returning, and that is a big, big upside for them. That, I think, gives them a good shot of always being able to knock off the teams. I wouldn't say they're the favorite or second favorite, but I do think that now that Sean Mannion is returning, if the cards fall in their favor, if they get those lucky chances, I think that they could possibly pull it off. Difficult, but feasible.
Yeah, and if you look at their schedule, it's definitely a doable thing. They're playing right now in a division that is very stacked. You have to compete against Oregon and Stanford every year, as well as a Washington team that has gotten better and better. Even with a new coach, Chris Peterson does a hell of a job at Boise State, to say the least. That is going to be very difficult. Cal and Washington State are very weak teams, which you guys can take advantage of in the Pac-12 North. But you would need some help from other teams getting upsets over Stanford and Oregon. And Nick,
but if you look at the Civil War this past year, it was down to the very last play of the game.
That's very true. And you guys are going to be playing at home next year. Do you think you guys can pull off the upset?
They're known as the Giant Killers, so I think they can.
Yeah, and Nick, as well as Nick, I heard you're going to LSU. Any expectations for LSU's team next season?
I expect them to be one of the 4 teams in the playoff next year.
Yeah. Noah, what did you think about that comment?
I agree 100%. Blake, I actually texted you. I think Leonard Fournette saying he does play will be crazy because I've been watching his film, and he never ceases to amaze me. He's just ridiculous. He's just such a great running back, and when you see him, he looks like Marshawn Lynch, except better. And of course, this is a team that this year, they were disappointing. There's really no way around it, but I think that next year, even without Mettenberger, I think that they have a really, really good shot of competing. And especially with Jeremy Hill returning, that could be a great tandem in the backfield. You know what? I see good things for LSU ahead.
He thinks that Nick's comment was, do you see 10-3 as a disappointing season for this year?
I see it disappointing, but I think they will be a playoff team next year. I think eventually, this year, not the best year, but future's bright, and just look, you got to use this year as motivation. Disappointment, sure, but when you look at it, I guess it was almost like a transition year into a new era with a top running back for the future, Jeremy Hill in his last year. So, disappointing year, yes, but next year I think will be good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for calling in, Nick. Feel free to call in any time to our show, and great opinions on both Oregon State and LSU in our college football season for next year. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, well, that was Nick Spadafora calling into our show. Already our third caller today, and we've had some good discussion so far. So Noah, we're going to have to wrap up the college football segment, then we're going to go on our first commercial break, then jump back into a new segment. But Noah, a final thought or opinion on the 2013 college football season?
Look, I really enjoyed it, and it's going to be really hard to have a season as good as we just had. I think it will be a great season, especially with so many talented returning players, so many young freshmen that could be really, really big difference makers. And Blake, I look forward to it. I look forward to the season for Ohio State. Hopefully they can turn it around. I look forward to Florida State and seeing how Jameis Winston does, maybe possibly becoming the first player since the great Archie Griffin, the Ohio State alum, to win 2 Heismans in a row. 2014 looks bright. I'm excited.
Yeah, my last opinion, it was just the year of Florida State and Jameis Winston. Obviously, winning the national title, they're the champions, but Jameis Winston coming out of what was expected to be a great college football career, but just exceeded those expectations to put on one of the most fantastic seasons that we've ever seen in college football. Like I said, the Heisman Trophy and a BCS championship as a freshman quarterback is unheard of. Great year by him, but also some memories, the upsets, Auburn's miracle plays 2 consecutive weeks, the Hail Mary versus Georgia for a touchdown, and then the most memorable game of all was Alabama-Auburn, obviously the biggest rivalry arguably in college football other than Michigan State, Ohio State, coming down to a field goal, getting returned 100 yards for a touchdown. Always going to remember that play, and always going to remember Florida State and the dominant season that Jameis Winston had. And those are all my opinions on this season, but very exciting season next year to look forward to, and so many great quarterbacks returning, including Brent Hundley of UCLA, Jameis Winston of Florida State, obviously Sean Mannion of Oregon State, Bryce Petty, Baylor. So many quarterbacks to talk about. I missed out on so many.